Okay, a very good morning, students. Okay, yesterday we discussed about longitudinal modes, right? Today we will solve some numericals on longitudinal modes, and we will solve some previous gate questions. Okay, based on Pogoid and short period mode. Okay, is it clear? Today our agenda is we are solving some numericals based on Pogoid and short period mode, right? What is this? So just first 5 minutes we'll revise, okay, what we have discussed yesterday's class. Okay, see, you know, if you want to analyze equations of motion, right? Steps. First, we have to write the, or you have to derive the equations of motion for that system. Later, we have to solve these equations, right? You have to solve these equations of motions. Later, you have to linearize that equations of motions for our simplicity purpose. Okay, you have to linearize. Later, you can bring that them into state space representation. When you bring these equations of motion finally in state space representation, that is x dot is equal to ax. I'm not discussing control part, let's be okay. X dot is equal to ax. So this will give the, this A is nothing but your system matrix, right? Your system matrix. You can find the characteristic equation of system matrix, that is nothing but A minus lambda I is equal to 0. You will get characteristic equation. Coming to our aircraft, okay, yesterday we discussed what is meant by longitudinal motions, what is meant by lateral directional motions. So here we are discussing longitudinal modes, right? Pogoid mode or short period mode. These are comes under longitudinal modes. So yesterday already we discussed characteristic equation. If you derive a characteristic equation for longitudinal motions, if you derive characteristic equation, what is the order? Characteristic equation for longitudinal motions. Generally you are getting lambda power 4, fourth order, right? You are getting fourth order. The characteristic equation is like this: b lambda cube plus c lambda square plus d lambda is equal to 0. Are you getting? Yes. If you solve this characteristic equation, what you are getting? You can split this characteristic equation into two second order equations like lambda square plus, okay, some k lambda plus, okay, z is equal to 0. One is this, and the other one is lambda square plus some constant k prime lambda plus g prime is equal to 0. You can split this fourth order into two second order, right? So two second order equations. You can split this, right, like this. If you find the roots of these equations, yesterday we discussed for some Boeing aircraft, okay, right? So if you split this, if you solve this, you are getting lambda 1, lambda 2 here. Here you are getting lambda 3, lambda 4. Finally you are getting, I mean, you can say eigenvalues are roots of the characteristic equation. Definitely eigenvalues of system matrix and Roots of the characteristic equation are same. Just if you want more clarity about this, just go to our previous lectures, okay? There we discussed. So lambda 1, lambda 2, and lambda 3, lambda 2. What they observed? They observed this for longitudinal motions, these roots, these are complex conjugate numbers. They are getting complex conjugate numbers. That is nothing but lambda 1 comma 2 is nothing but minus a plus or minus ib. Lambda 3 comma 4, they are getting something like, here if you take a1 b1, here they are getting a2 plus or minus ib2. So generally they are getting like this for civil passenger aircrafts. Okay, is it clear? They are getting complex conjugate numbers for longitudinal motions, right? The roots of this characteristic equation is complex conjugate numbers. If you define this, if you represent this complex conjugate numbers, one set of complex conjugate numbers are very near to imaginary axis, somewhere here. Okay, this is real, this is imaginary axis, right? So one set of, I mean, it may be lambda 1, lambda 2 or lambda 3, lambda 4. One set of roots are very near to imaginary axis. Other test set is far away from the imaginary axis. So like that. So yesterday we solved one numerical, right? So already yesterday we given one example. So there if you see, for example, you can take it as, so lambda 1 comma 2, lambda 1 comma 2, you can take it as minus 0.01715 plus or minus I into 0.2135. Okay, these are, then lambda 3 comma 4, you can take it as minus 2.508 plus or minus I into 2.578. Okay, if you solve this, something like, for example, you can take here, I am not giving this constants value. Generally here this constants B is, A is 1, B is some 5.05. So some values are like that. Okay, if you solve that characteristic equation, okay, you can just assume some two complex conjugate numbers like this. One is minus 0.01715 and other real part is minus 2.508. Like this you are getting. So if you observe those roots, this fellow lambda 1 comma lambda 2, these roots, these are very near to imaginary axis like this. So if you take this, real part is minus 0.0, very near, not like here also. So for example, if you take here, this is real part is 2.508 comma 2.578, this is 2.508 comma minus 2.578, right? So somewhere here you are getting, and here complex conjugate numbers. What is meant by this? Yesterday we discussed. Okay, so definitely this left half plane is stable, right half plane is unstable, already we discussed. Okay, so take these roots. Which one will come faster? I mean, which one will come to the equilibrium position? I mean, which one will come to the original equilibrium position very fast? Definitely, which one have more real root? Here it is 2.508 real part of complex number. Here real part is 0.0175. 1715, okay, 1715. Okay, this will respond very lazily, like that, right? Already we discussed yesterday. This will respond very lazy, like this will respond very immediately. Like for example here if you see, definitely these are complex numbers. So complex numbers means definitely that is oscillatory in nature. So immediately it will come to the original position, right? Real part is very, very high. That means you can write exponential e power minus 2.5. Here you can write e point minus 0. So it will come like very lazily. This response is like this. Somehow very lazy, like, right? Time period is more. So technically I am saying as this time period of this mode is more. Okay, the complex number, I mean that is nothing but roots of the characteristic equation. This fellow, these complex numbers have time period is more. Okay, that type of mode is called Pogoid mode or long period mode. Here lambda 3, lambda 4, this fellow have root 2.508, compared to this it is very, very high. So it will respond immediately, it will come to the initial position immediately, I mean within fraction of seconds. So time period is very, very less, right? Time period is very, very less, frequency is very, very high. So this type of mode is called short period mode. Are you getting? Okay. Mode is nothing but motion represented by the roots of the characteristic equation. Yes, right? So this is the thing yesterday we discussed, right? So what is Pogoid mode, what is short period mode? From yesterday's class we discussed. Okay, in yesterday's class we discussed about what about damping in short period mode or Pogoid mode. Damping is high for short period mode. In long period mode, damping is low. Okay? Okay, not revising. We'll go to numericals, right? We'll go to numericals. Let's see. So both are oscillations, oscillatory motions, right? Even Pogoid mode or short period mode, both are oscillatory in nature, right? Definitely, because roots are complex conjugate numbers. So if something is in oscillatory, so that is waveform, something like this. Okay. Understanding? Just somehow. Something oscillatory. Somewhere they are damping like this. Okay. Initially we have some amplitude. Okay, you can take it as some amplitude. So how much time it will take? How much time? How much time it will take to halve the amplitude of the signal? This is my question. How much time it will take to halve the amplitude of the disturbance? This is disturbance, right? I am representing this is the disturbance. It may be theta, it may be angle of attack, okay? Right? So how much time it will take to halve the amplitude of the disturbance? Somewhere half means here like this. So from here to here, how much time it will take to halve the amplitude of the disturbance? That is my question. Are you understanding? Yes. We are solving some numericals. Numericals very, very important in gate point of view. Just be careful. Just see here. How much time? Already we discussed complex conjugate numbers we are getting. Those are nothing but A plus or minus IB. Okay. So this is real part. This one is imaginary part, right? Imaginary part of the complex number. So if real part is negative, then amplitude, I mean the distance will decrease with respect to time. If real part is positive, that amplitude will increase with respect to time, right? Already we discussed, just go to our previous lectures, okay? So generally directly I am giving formulas. So time required to half the amplitude of the disturbance, that is nothing but 0.693 by real part of the root. Here real part is nothing but a, right? So you can write 0.693 mod a. You can write like that. Are you following, everyone? Yes. Is it clear? So these are the solutions for second order equation, lambda square, some k lambda, okay, some z is equal to 0. For this you will get solution minus a plus or minus ib. Okay, if it is longitudinal motion, definitely you will get complex conjugate numbers, no doubt. Okay. Then I am erasing this. Okay, what about next time period? No, next you need time period of the oscillation. Time period of the oscillations. Okay, time period, how much time it will take. I mean time period is nothing but time required to complete one cycle from here to here, one cycle, right? How much time it will take to complete the one cycle, that is time period. So you can write time period T is nothing but 2 pi by this imaginary part. Very, very important relations. Just note it down. 2 pi by imaginary part. Real part is related to time. Imaginary part related to time period. Okay, don't confuse. This here time, this is nothing but how much time it will take to halve the disturbance, that amplitude of the disturbance. Okay, yes. One more thing is there, that is called n half, that is nothing but t half by time period. What is mean by this? Here this is one cycle, right? So here one more cycle, somewhere here 2 cycles, this is second cycle, like that. If it is long period mode, I mean Pogoid mode, there are some n number of cycles, right? How many cycles, what is the number of cycles it will take to halve the amplitude? Okay, at this time the amplitude is half, here amplitude is a, here it is a by 2. From here to here, how many cycles it will take? That is nothing but n half. How you represent? T half by time period. Very, very simple and easy formulas, very, very important formulas. Are you getting, everyone? Yes? Is it clear? Any doubt? So you have some second order equation like this, lambda square a lambda plus b is equal to 0. Okay, so this is second order, and some second order system you have damping ratio zeta omega n is the natural frequency of the system, then how can you represent characteristic equation of this system? Yes, already we discussed, right? You can represent as lambda square 2 zeta omega n lambda plus omega n square is equal to 0, right? You can compare this any system, second order differential equation, and here if you use damping for the system. So you can compare these two equations, right? Are you getting very, very important formulas? Just remember. So if you solve this, you are getting lambda 1 comma 2 is nothing but your minus a plus or minus ib, or minus a1 plus or minus ib1. Roots you are getting like this. What about roots of this equation? Roots of this equation. Yes, if you have damping ratio, natural frequency. If your system have damping ratio and natural frequency, the characteristic equation is in this form, no doubt. Okay, when you are discussing vibrations, you will get, okay. So, but remember here, if you have damping ratio and natural frequency for any system, you can represent that equation, that characteristic equation like this. So, lambda square plus 2 zeta omega n lambda plus omega n square is equal to 0. If you compare these roots with these roots, okay, I want this real part of the equation, characteristic equation in terms of damping ratio and natural frequency. How can you represent? Yes, anyone? How can you represent? Simply you can compare easily. Okay, 2 zeta omega n is nothing but real part. 2 zeta omega n. So just you can write. If you solve this, you will get lambda 1 comma 2. What you will get? Minus zeta omega n plus or minus. Yes, can anyone? B square. So 4 by 2 zeta omega n whole square minus 4. Okay, omega n square, right? By 2. Just don't forget here 2 is there, 2 zeta. Right? Just note this formulas. I will erase this part. Okay. Now just see here. Lambda 1 comma 2, you will get zeta omega n plus or minus omega n square root of 1 by zeta square. So you will get this. Just solve that. You will get this in this form. So this zeta omega n is nothing but your real part of the roots, right? This is imaginary part, right? Imaginary part. Here one more important concept is that is called damped natural frequency or damped frequency. What is that? Damped frequency, that is omega d. That is nothing but omega n into square root of 1 minus zeta square, right? This zeta is nothing but damping ratio. So this imaginary part is nothing but omega d. Are you understanding? So what we have discussed, time period is nothing but, in previous, time period is nothing but 2 pi by imaginary part. That imaginary part is nothing but omega d. Okay, damped frequency. By this, from this I am concluding, yes, you will bring that system into state space representation. From that state space representation, you will take system matrix. For that system matrix, you will get eigenvalues or characteristic equation. If you solve characteristic equation, you will get roots. Definitely for longitudinal motions, roots will be in complex number, right? Definitely roots will be in complex numbers. Yes, roots will be in, definitely you will get in complex numbers. That is oscillatory in nature. When you have oscillations, okay, these are stable, right? Because real part is negative. That means damping is there. You can say damping. So you can compare this real part with zeta omega n. That is nothing but damping ratio into natural frequency is nothing but your real part of the complex number. You can compare omega d is your imaginary part of the complex number. Yes? Any doubt here? Any questions? Just we will solve some numericals. Just you can easily understand the concept. For example, I am erasing everything, right? Just we will erase whole thing. Just check it. T half, very very important notation. Just very very important formulas. Just note it down. Okay. So they given one characteristic equation. For that characteristic equation, roots are like this. Lambda 1 comma 2 is equal to minus 2.508 plus or minus I into 2.578 and lambda 3 comma 4 they given minus 0.01715 plus or minus I into 0.2135. Okay, they given roots of the longitudinal motion characteristic equation are like this. Those are complex conjugate numbers. Okay, they are asking just find which roots will represent Phugoid mode, which root will represent short period mode. That is first question. Okay, first you have to find the Phugoid mode and short period mode roots. Which one will belongs to short period mode, which one belongs to Phugoid mode? That is first question. And second question is they are asking find the time period of Phugoid mode and T half of the Phugoid mode and N half for the Phugoid mode. Same, you can write time period for the short period mode, time period for the short period, T half for the short period mode and N half for the short period. Very very important. Just can you solve this? Everyone try to solve this. Yes, yes, fast. Yes, everyone just. So already we discussed. For Phugoid mode, short period is, sorry, for Phugoid mode, time period is more. Okay, time period is more. Can we find time period here? For this roots, time period is, how can you find time period? By using 2 pi by real part, right? Mode of real part. So 2 pi by, what about real part here? 2.508. What is the answer? Just you can solve this. I'm giving directly number 2.436. If you do same thing for this lambda 3 comma 4, this complex conjugate numbers also, time period here is 2 pi by real part is nothing but 0.01715. So your value is nothing but, the answer is 29.4 seconds. Are you getting? So they given only roots of the characteristic equation. You have to find which roots belongs to Fugite mode, which roots belongs to short period mode. How can you find? You can observe the time period. Here time period is 2.43. Here time period is 29.4 seconds. So which one will comes under Fugite mode? Time period for these roots have more, right? Time period is more here for these roots. So you can say this lambda 3, 4, it will represent the Fugite mode. These complex conjugate numbers related to Fugite mode. These are related to short period mode, right? Otherwise, yesterday we discussed for Fugite mode, roots are, those roots are very near to imaginary axis. That means minus 0.01. These are very near to imaginary axis 0.213. Right? This real part is very, very close to imaginary axis. Are you getting? So this is far away from the imaginary axis 2.5. So simply you can say this is Fugite, this is short period by observing also. Okay? Are you getting? You can do like that also. Just that will come by practice. Next, find the time required to half the amplitude of the disturbance. How much here? For this formula is 0.693 by here 2.508, right? That is mod A, 2.508. That is nothing but 0.276. Number of cycles. Okay, that is nothing but 0.113 cycle. If you do for short period also, okay, that is for short period. If you do same thing for Fugite also, you will get answer T half, you will get 40.4 seconds, and N half, you will get 1.37 cycles. If you observe here, for short period, for Fugite, for long period, how much time it is taking to half the amplitude of the disturbance? 40.4 seconds. After 40 seconds, that disturbance is coming to half. For example, this is my aircraft. Because of disturbance, angle of attack increased from 5 degrees to some 10 degrees. So disturbance is 5 degrees, right? Disturbance is 5 degrees. So after 40 seconds, it is coming to some 7.5. From 10 to 7.5. Are you getting? It is taking some 40 seconds. Same thing if you see here, it is taking 0.2 seconds. Very fast. Fraction of seconds. So that means natural frequency is more here. Frequency of the short period mode is very, very high. So that's why we need more damping, that type of mode. Okay? Are you getting, everyone? That's why we need more damping for short period mode. Is it clear? Just try to solve this. If you understand this, then it is very, very easy. You can solve GATE previous questions based on Fugite mode and short period mode. Are you getting, everyone? Yes. For Fugite mode, time period is more. Right? Remember, if you want time period is more, time period is inversely proportional to real part of the root. Okay? Roots will get right like this, roots. So if real part is less, then that is called Fugite mode. If real part is more, that is short period mode. Okay? I hope you understand how to identify Fugite mode and short period mode. Okay? We'll go to GATE previous questions. Yes, we'll solve that GATE previous questions. We are waiting for this thing only, right? Yes. First we'll solve 2009 question, okay? GATE 2009. Okay, I'm erasing this whole things. Just check it. Okay, is it clear? Now we are solving gate previous questions. Okay, first we will solve 2009 question. I mean 2007, 2000 also there, but those are related to lateral directional modes. Now we will solve longitudinal modes. Okay, in 2009 they asked 2009 question number 51. 2009 paper, AE paper, gate. Okay. So this is common data questions. Okay, just try to write this question. Just write this question and I will dictate. Okay. The roots of the characteristic equation for the longitudinal dynamics of a certain aircraft are the roots they given like this. Lambda 1 is equal to minus 0.02 plus 0.2 I. Okay. Lambda 2 is equal to minus 0.02 I minus 0.2 I. Okay. Lambda 3 minus 2.5 plus or minus plus 2.6 I. Lambda 4 minus 2.5 minus 2.6 I. So they given 4 roots. Okay. From this, what they are asking? Question number 51. Okay. By simplicity, just do one thing. Just you download all gate previous questions. Okay. Previous question papers. So I will give just question number 51. You can directly go to that 51 question number. Okay. Okay. It is very easy compared to noting. I mean, it is very difficult, right? We don't have that much time to write here that question. Is it clear? Just download all those gate previous question papers and directly, if I said here question number is 51, 52, directly go to that question. Yes, I will solve here. Is it clear? Yes. What they are asking? 51. The question number is 51. What they are asking? The pair of eigenvalues that represent the Fugite mode. The pair of eigenvalues that represent the Fugite mode. Option A, lambda 1, lambda 3. Option B, lambda 2 and lambda 4. And C, lambda 3, lambda 4. And D, lambda 1 comma and lambda 2. Okay, and right? So which one is true? For Fugite mode, concept is clear. For Fugite mode, definitely Fugite mode or short period mode, roots are complex conjugate numbers. Here lambda 1, lambda 2, these are complex conjugate, lambda 3, lambda 4. These are complex conjugate, right? It is not lambda 1, lambda 3. So you can remove this lambda 1, lambda 3. And next, what about lambda 2, lambda 4? You can remove these two things because those are not complex conjugate. So you have to find from lambda 1, lambda 2 and lambda 3, lambda 4. For Fugite mode, what is the logic? Time period is more. That is nothing but your real part should be minimum, right? Here compare here. Here real part is 2.5 and 0.02. Which one is more? 2.5. It is more. Forget about minus sign. Minus sign is always there. Why? Because minus here represent those oscillations are decreasing with respect to time. Okay. So definitely. So these roots are very near to imaginary axis. So definitely lambda 1, lambda 2. this will represent Fugate mode. So answer is D. Okay. And next 52, question number 52. What they asked? The short period damped frequency is short period. You have to find short period damped frequency. Are you getting? Short period damped frequency. If you observe here, I am saying this is Fugate mode, this is short period mode. Okay. Then my question is, already we discussed, if we have damping ratio and natural frequency, okay, if you have damping ratio and natural frequency for any system, you can represent that system roots as like this: zeta omega n plus or minus omega n into square root of 1 minus zeta square I. You can represent like this, right? So any system, which one have zeta and natural frequency, damping ratio and natural frequency. So can you say here this is nothing but zeta omega n plus or minus omega d into I. So in that case, the imaginary part of the root is nothing but your damped. Are you understanding? That imaginary part is nothing but your damped frequency. So here in these two cases, in this two, this is short period, it will represent short period. Damped frequency is nothing but imaginary part, is 2.6. So answer is 2.6. That is nothing but 2.6 radians per second. That is option A. Those options, check it. I am not giving options, okay? Is it clear? Can I go to next question? What about time? Let's see this. We have only 15 minutes time. Just let's see. We'll solve some more questions, okay? This is 2009, GATE 2009, okay? Common data questions. Very, very important. Common data. Next. Next question is GATE 2011. Okay, it is 2011 AE. Okay, so question number 43. What they are asking? They given an aircraft in level flight encounters a vertical gust which excites the Fugate mode. Okay, aircraft is in level flight, suddenly some vertical gust attacks. Because of that, there is Fugate mode excited. Okay, so what will happen? The Fugate motion completes 10 cycles in 50 seconds. The Fugate mode completes 10 cycles in 50 seconds. This is first statement they given, and its amplitude reduces to half of its maximum value. Already discussed. Amplitude reduces to half of its maximum value. That is nothing but T half. Right? T half. That is 25 seconds. They given 25 seconds. Are you getting? The eigenvalues of the Fugate mode are option A minus 0.05 plus or minus 0.02 I, B minus 0.5 plus or minus 0.2 I, C minus 0.028 plus or minus 1.26 I, D 0.028 plus or minus 1.26 These are the 4 options. These are the 2 given conditions. Are you getting? Yes? How will you do this? How will you solve this? First of all, this is related to Fugite mode. For Fugite mode, we can say roots are complex conjugate and real part is always less than 0, that is negative. So you can remove this option D. Here real part is positive, right? Now let's see why. Because they given t half. Okay, amplitude is decreasing with respect to time, so that real part should be positive. Sorry, real part should be negative. But in 3 options it is negative, but last one they given positive. So just simply remove that. So out of these 3, there they given condition t half. We know for t half is nothing but 0.693 by a real part. Okay. How much? 25. So your real part is nothing but 0.693 by 25. How much you will get? You will get 0.028. So already it is 0.028, but it is not positive. It is negative term. Okay. The answer is C. Is it clear? Everyone? Any questions? Like that. How much time it will take? Hardly fraction of seconds. So we'll achieve 2 marks. No doubt. Very, very easy and scoring also. Okay. The problem is you have to understand what is characteristic equation. You have to understand system dynamics. That is very, very important. Is it clear? Everyone? Then next question. They asked this question in 2016. In 2016 they asked the damping ratio in Fugite motion for gliders. They are asking the damping ratio in Fugite motion for gliders is usually less for gliders. Okay, for gliders they are saying damping ratio in Fugite motion is usually less compared to powered aircrafts. Compared to powered aircrafts, because option A, gliders are unpowered. Okay. Option B, gliders are light. Option C, lift to drag ratio is higher. For gliders. Option D is gliders fly at low speed. These are the 4 options. And when they given like this, just go to our basics. There we discussed, when you are discussing Fugite mode, already we given some formulas, right? So related to your natural frequency in Fugite mode. Natural frequency for Fugite mode is nothing but square root of 2 into G0 by U0. Okay, and zeta is nothing but 1 by square root of 2 into CD by CL. This thing already we given, right? So Fugite mode natural frequency, generally if you see for simple pendulum, that natural frequency depends on length of that string. It does not depend on mass of the bob. Like that here, for every aircraft, that Pogayad mode oscillation, that Pogayad mode natural frequency depends on velocity of the vehicle, okay? It does not depend on like structure. Is it clear? It is same way damping ratio. It is depending on efficiency, CL by CD. If you have more efficiency, you can go with less damping. Right? So directly you can say gliders are unpowered. Okay, that is true. But for that question and answer, there is no relation, right? In question they are asking damping ratio. Clearly they mentioned damping ratio. So damping ratio directly go to this formula. And here if you see, generally for gliders, CL by CD is maximum, okay? We need more glide range, right? For that thing, generally we can say CL by CD is maximum for gliders. So lift to drag ratio is higher for glider. Okay, if lift to drag ratio is higher, then you can write this thing as zeta is inversely proportional to CL by CD. If it is higher, generally zeta is lower. Damping ratio is less for gliders. Is it clear? Yes. Option C. Okay. Okay, just still there are two more questions based on Pogayad mode. Okay, total we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Total 60 questions are there, okay? So based on Pogayad mode and short period modes, two more questions are there. We will discuss in. Okay. Still we have two classes, right? Two more classes. Tomorrow I will take two more classes. In those classes, I will give introduction about lateral directional modes, and we'll solve this gate previous questions based on longitudinal and lateral directional modes. Okay. Just these are very important formulas. Just remember these formulas. Today what I have given, these formulas are very important to solve these longitudinal lateral directional modes. Okay. Yes. Do it. You have to practice. When you definitely you need to practice. At the time you will understand clearly. Is it clear? Next week, not next week, next class, we'll discuss about lateral directional modes, and we'll finish and we will solve all these gate previous questions. Is it clear? Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.